and welcome everybody to another episode of Fun Fresh Fridays. As maybe some of you can hear, my voice is not very well, and I'm trying to hide. I know some of you are like, we don't notice it, but anyway, I'm just going to put it out there. My voice is not very well because I had oral surgery, and as you can see, I have the chipmunk face.
No, you don't, Zaneta. You're fine. Actually, I didn't even know until you told me. So
Yeah.
you're fine. No one's going to notice. That's right,
Yes.
audience. Just tap away. Tell us you can't see a thing.
So, but I'm medicated, and so I'm good. But just my voice is just a little, on the sexy side.
Actually, that's kind of husky and sexy. So, fun, fresh Fridays.
Yes, Fun Fresh Fridays. So, before we start, I'm gonna let everybody know that on October the 8th, I will be a guest on today's conversation with Sarah Jane and Enolia. So, I'll be sending out some links if you'd have to register. So, for those of you that would like to follow, please do. We will be talking about forgiveness. Also my website, and course, what will be coming out soon as well. Also, I believe Stefania has some stuff brewing too. So, Stefania, take it away.
Yeah, just my own show, actually, getting organized, not trying. It's actually in the process. So that's coming soon to be announced. My Triple R Thursdays, it's going to be called. And for you Americans, it's going to be Hump Day, because I learned a new word last week. And Triple R stands for Real Raw Relationship Talk at the Gentleman Square. So, but because Australia is, substantially a number of hours ahead of your people in America, well, I think with Virginia, we're 15 hours, and then it depends where you are in the States. Obviously, it's different hours, but we are a day ahead. So therefore, when it's my Thursday, it's your Wednesday. And
Hump Day.
So therefore, but I didn't know, because Zaneta said to me, "Oh, no, was it you, Zaneta? No, or someone else? No, it was someone else. That's right, it wasn't you." I said, "I'm going to tell Zaneta," because I didn't know. The gentleman I shared this with, he goes, "Oh, that's Hump Day," and yes. I went, "Hump Day?" And I said, "What is Hump Day?"
Please explain.
I'm curious. So he says to me, "Well, Hump Day is, the middle of the week for us Americans." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Well, I'm going to actually, announce that, so you remember that it's Hump Day for you, and it's Thursdays for us." Yeah. And of course, I've never heard that expression. We don't have that here in Australia.
Oh,
so that's why I was like, "What? Hump Day?" So it just sounded a little, kind of sexual in a way. And I thought, But anyway, it's nothing what I thought, obviously.
No, it's not. It's a play on words. But yes, Americans have fun with it too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do keep tuning in, because we have a lot in store for you, and we will be talking about topics that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So today we are going to talk about repetitious compulsion. What is repetitious compulsion? So, like what the flyer had said, have you ever wondered why you always wound up with different guys, but with the same issue? They always have either they have anger issues, or they're a womanizer, or they're controlling, or the real good one, a narcissist. Yeah, that's a good one. Or a man who finds himself with a womanizer, or a woman who. What are our issues? What are our issues that men complain about? Since you're a men's relationship coach, what do they complain about us outside of gold digger? Because we hear that all the time.
Well, I don't know if that's the number one, but yeah, there is a number of things, but it's really interesting because what you just mentioned there, Zaneta, about where you end up, you have different relationships with different people, but always end up with the same, say, scenario, the same outcome. Whatever that may be for you, because everybody has different outcomes. It may be that you attract, for some men, it is they attract the toxic woman that is, the commando, that is a narcissist in some ways, or the woman that is a gold digger, or the woman that, is just wanting security and that's it, but not a long-lasting relationship, or maybe just want children. It may be different things, right? So the fact is we're recreating these same scenarios, but just with different people. It's just like we jump out of one relationship and go into another relationship thinking, oh, I've gotten rid of that problem, that person, that situation, only to find ourselves that we're back in the same sort of scenario, same situation, if not worse.
Yes.
If not worse.
If not worse. And I think the reason why it gets worse is because of this. The meaning of repetitious compulsion, I don't think a lot of people are very familiar with that terminology. What it means is that you tend to go back to where you failed, quote unquote, and you try to fix it. So a failed relationship, you tend to gravitate to another relationship and have the same scenario, have the same little telltale signs, and you want to fix it. You want to be able to have that second chance, so to speak. But what happens, what they don't realize, because I was in that, what I didn't realize was this, that the emotions come back again too. And so the first relationship that was failing, now here you are with the second relationship that is again failing, is now compounded. So now you're having double emotions, double hurt, double, it compounds. So after this relationship, then here comes another relationship that wasn't fixed. So you're trying to fix the next one. And that's what repetitious compulsion means, is that you're trying to find a same scenario to try to fix what was in the past. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And I must agree, I put both hands up. I think I could, kind of be called the queen of compulsive repetition until I broke.
Oh, do tell.
Yes. I did. I was continually attracting broken men that I thought that I could fix. I thought I could fix. So, the only thing was, and exactly as Zaneta explains it, I was compounding because I wasn't healing. I wasn't healing from, the past experiences. I was just bringing them along. It's like having a backpack, and you keep traveling with the same backpack, but you never empty that backpack. You just keep putting more stuff in it to keep traveling. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. And it didn't get me anywhere. If anything, it got me in a worse place. I just then spiral down, the anger compounded, the frustration compounded, the disappointment, the sadness, the fear, the emotion, not trusting, all that comes with, relationships. If we call, because we're talking more about relationships here. But repetition compulsion is also in other areas of, life, in your life as well. It doesn't just have to be, it
In
can
a
be,
relationship.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it goes even with your job.
Yes.
That's why people are finding themselves getting fired every, you know, the next thing, the next job, you get fired, the next job, you get fired or get laid off. So these are different behaviors that we have that we don't know. I remember during my psychology class, I was like, nah, that's not me.
Well,
I have a wonderful life. But yet I found myself in it. So and what happens is that our minds really want to fix things. We
yeah.
do, because we don't want to be failures. We don't.
Mm,
Who wants to be a
yeah.
failure, really? Who wants to say, oh, I want to be a failure, I want to be the first one to fail? Nobody
Mm,
does. um
yeah.
so and that's where that compulsion comes in. It's repetitive. And what does the definition of insanity? If you keep on
Absolutely.
doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
insanity.
Yes. And can I just add to that,
Yeah.
Zaneta? I think, I don't know what, maybe for me, maybe because, I'm a female, but I kind of looked at it. We're females, we're nurturers, we're the women of the world. And what do women do? What do females do? We nurture, we love, and we want to repair. And so that's, for us, it's even, I think, yeah. Whereas men, in some cases, not all, are able to like cut and, cut things off. They may be repeating it, but not for the wanting to understand it. I think it's, for us women, it just becomes, because we're the nurturers, right? So we just think,
Yeah.
yeah, we can nurture, we can heal. We're the caring type. So it just makes it even worse.
Yeah, it does. And for those of you that are watching and listening, thank you so much. If you want to join in the conversation, you can. You don't
Yes.
have to turn on your camera. You can turn off your camera and we can hear you audio. But if you would like to join, just put in the chat, um, I would like to join, or just put down join. So, and I'll send you the link through Facebook Messenger, and you can join right on in and join in this conversation. So, how, we know now, repetitious compulsion. The things that we have to ask ourselves if we are in a repetitious compulsion relationship, or even a job, or whatever it is in our life, even with friends. We pick
Yes.
friends that are takers, and we continue to um, attract those kind of friends. They're just takers, leeches, or the needy ones. Oh, I need you. Every time they call you, they need something from you, but yet when you need something from them, oh, they can't be bothered.
Yep.
You know, um, so even with that, even whatever relationship it is, it doesn't have to be a romantic or kind of relationship. So this repetitious compulsion really is a psychological or a mental emotional kind of breakdown that is happening within us, that we're trying to fix, and we're trying to fix it in the wrong way. So how do we fix it the right way? Oh, that's a good question. So in all relationships, I think you would agree that all of us go through the grieving process. All of us, it's the grieving process. It's just not because of a loss of a loved one. Yes, we go through the grieving process when we lose a loved one, and those are different stages. But if you break up with someone, that's a loss. If you fall out with your friend, that is a loss. There's a tearing, there's a separation. So we go through that grieving process. And what is the first one? Denial. We can't,
Yep.
no, this is not happening. Isn't that so true?
Yeah, the big D.
The big D. Well, there's another D, but later on. But yeah, this one is denial. Nobody. Well, I know when I was going through divorce. At first, I was like, no, this is no. Even though I know it needs to happen, even though I know this, this is the only way that I could heal. This is, because I'm in a very toxic, relationship. So, and it took a long time for me to realize that. There were other things, plaguing as to why it took a long time. But there was denial. It was still denial, even though I know. Well, you said that you seem to attract losers. Losers.
I have
Um,
to for them, but
so,
but
did you have that denial? When you were getting to that point of separation.
yes, because I still felt like I could fix them. And for some, I kind of did, in the sense that, they went off and found other women, and then they would still come back to me and ask for help in that relationship. I had those kind of situations. I know that's pretty warped, isn't it? But yeah, with some, I still kept a friendship, so to speak.
Hold on.
And that's all it was. And they would literally come to me and say, Stefania, help me. What am I going to do with this relationship? I had one guy, I can tell you some stories, but I had one particular, man in my life. And yeah, she was cheating on him. He found out that she was possibly cheating on him because, and it was with her masseur. So he then put a tracker on her, on her motorbike, a little, Vespa. This was back in Italy about 5-6 years ago. And he caught her having coffee. So he didn't know and he's coming running to me. And I said, well, hang on a minute. Like, why is she off having coffee with someone else? There must be something not happening in your relationship that you're not. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But he came back to me. So what I had to do, and this is what I suggest to my clients, is you have to take an inventory check of yourself and of your past relationships. It doesn't matter how many relationships you've had. Some people have only had 2, some people have had 5, 10, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It can even be with 2, 3. But take an inventory check of how the relationship started, how it then evolved, and what were the stages as it was changing to then finish. And often when you do that, you can see there is a pattern in the relationships that you've been in. So that in itself is going to give you a clear, particularly when you put it down on paper, you can see it and go, oh my God, all my relationships are ended the same way. Or all the men in my life, or all the females that in my life, the women that I attracted were all the same. They, a scenario, they were all pretty and model-like and princess, but they came with a price, so to speak. So there's that to look at. And once you got that, you then are forced, if you choose, you can choose to take responsibility, which helps overcome that denial. I feel,
So this is kind of, I guess, weird, strange. That same thing happened to me. The exes would come back to me and ask me for advice, and I'm looking at the phone like,
is this for real?
yeah, is this? Am I being punked? Or is this a tactic of jealousy? Because yeah, why don't you talk to your significant other about the issues you're having and not with me? You,
Mm.
you know. So that's fascinating. But
Mm.
how did you feel about the men, or the exes coming back to you asking for advice?
To be quite honest, at first I was angry. I was like, hang on a minute. You know, like you really asking me for help? But then I kind of turned it around and said, you know what? I had compassion and really realized that I
I'm
know it's
sorry.
hard. I know it's hard, but I really felt, I guess too, because I really cared for him. You know, there was a lot of love there. But I also realized that, we were together. It was the wrong timing. It was the reason we were together was it served its purpose. And I was
Oh,
able to let it go. So I was
oh.
able to let it go. And once you let go, then you're able to see it from a different perspective.
Mm.
And that didn't come easy, but he was very persistent. He was, in the way he treated me, I guess he was very sorry and really wanted me to forgive him, and which I did, but he really wanted to maintain that I guess friendship from afar. So I was there for him. And I know that might sound really stupid, but it was purely just to help him. And I thought, well, it didn't happen with me, so allow myself to help him to really have a better relationship with this woman and make a life, have that healthy, loving, heartfelt relationship where he could open up, communicate with her, and come together. And as a result, they're still together. They've had a baby. Their relationship is thriving. And it was really back then, that's when I started thinking about coaching men. In fact,
Mm.
that's where it really started, where I kept having these exes come back to me, asking me for, relationship help.
So you know what, Stefania, you had just because in my research, as far as the repetitious compulsion, and I'm not a clinical psychologist, or I don't have that degree. I did have classes, and a portion of it was during the pastoral counseling degree that I do have. But in order for you to get to that, you actually did what majority of the psychiatrists recommend. There are 5 stages of grief, but the easiest way to cut the time of grief
Mm,
is go directly to acceptance, which is the last stage.
correct. Yeah.
So, not saying that you're not angry, not saying that you're not going to be, have any kind of depression about it. No, it doesn't take it away. But you went to acceptance. That's where you went. And if we can, it took me a while to get here. It took me a while to, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. Okay, let me, put my big girl panties on and just keep on trying. So that's what it is. You skip because the different stages of grief is denial. That's number one. You can't believe it. You don't want to believe it.
Hmm.
Two is anger, because now you're angry because this is actually happening. And not only that, because it's so many emotions. You have so many emotions going on, and you're trying to make sense of what's happening. So the only emotion that can really externally show that is anger.
Mm,
Isn't that amazing? Because
absolutely.
yeah, because we can't handle it, anger comes out. Then the third stage is bargaining. You went through, you
I went through,
bargain.
yeah.
Yeah, I will do better. Or I promise I'll do this, or I won't do it again, kind of thing. There's a bargaining, even with death. When we lose a loved one, the bargaining is, I wish it was me and not you.
Yes.
So we have that similarity. And then depression comes in, because what is it? It's the sadness, and the reality is starting to set in.
Yeah.
And then the emotions, instead of going outward, it's now going inward. Now you want isolation. Now you don't want to talk to anybody, because the pain is so great that you just go inwardly. It goes in, until hopefully you get to the acceptance. But sometimes what happens with repetitious compulsion behavior, you're stuck in one of the
Those things.
stages of grief.
Mm.
And majority of the time, it's the bargaining or depression.
Mm.
That's where
Mm.
you're stuck. So
Yes.
because you want to do better, so you find another person, and you're gonna be this other person because you're trying to fix what you messed up, or what was messed up in the past. So now
Mm.
you're going to be this other person. Now you're out of character. Now you're trying to please. Now you're trying to be this person. So it becomes a repetitious
Yeah.
behavior.
So the big question is, how do we fix it?
Mm, well,
and
well.
a lot of people, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, once we get to, sort of out of the denial stage, well, then you're starting, because, moving through the depression and the bargaining, that's still moving. So that's a good
Mm-hmm.
thing. So moving from that first stage of denial is where it's vitally important, because once you're out of that, at least you're taking some responsibility and you're moving forward and taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge and action together is power.
Yes.
It's no
Yes.
good knowing it and not taking action, right?
Right.
So as we move forward, and this is where I think I've helped a lot of people move and fast track that, particularly working through the subconscious mind through hypnosis,
Mm-hmm.
because if you peel back the layers quite quickly and non invasively, we can go back to where it all started. Because this didn't start from your last relationship, or the relationship before that, or the relationship before that. We're
Yes.
going to go way back,
Way back.
way back, way back. And where's this way back? Well, we don't
Mm.
know. It's all different for everybody. For
Yes.
some, it may be way back as 3 years old, 4 years old. For some, it may be at 10 years of age. Some may be at 16, your first boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't know. But usually it's before that. And because, we know the most important and crucial time of our lives is between 0 and 8, where
Yes.
we are storing information into our subconscious mind and making
Yes.
that information known associations. It's most likely it's happened between 0 and 8, and it's been
Yeah.
stored in there, and then it'll resurface as we grow, move on through life and the
Yeah.
ages.
And that's a very extensive study with psychologists. Is that from 0 to 8 are the volatile years of a child. So whatever they see, whatever they're exposed to, whatever upbringing or environment they are in, that is going to mold them as to what adulthood they're going to see.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I know I've been telling my story, and that from age 4 to age 16, actually 19, um, that my innocence was taken away from me. Uh, do you see me out here saying "me too, me too"? No, I'm not on that bandwagon. And the reason why I'm not on the bandwagon of "me too," because I am no longer a victim.
Right.
I don't fit that bill anymore. Now, if I was still in that, then yes, I might have gone with the bandwagon of Me Too. But I'm no longer a victim. I want to be able to transform the victimhood into victory instead of victim. Transform over to triumph, transform over to a conqueror. Because when
Right.
you cry victim, or when you say you're a victim, you are saying that whatever happened to you still has dominion or power over you.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you have triumph over that, then whatever they can say, whatever stories that they can come up with, it's not gonna phase you now, because you're like, yeah, no.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna make me crawl, and you're not gonna make me, be in a fetal position again, and being victimized once again. No,
Yeah,
no,
you've
I
grown,
yeah
moved on.
refuse to. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that is very vital. But it took me a long time to get here, and that's why I wanted to be, I wanted to be able to have this platform so that we can speak about these things. That's my beautiful niece, Lael. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, not be a victim. Yes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So,
But
because
how do we stop being a victim? Let's just stop there.
okay.
How do we stop being a victim? Because when you're in that and you're in the frame, you don't know that you're the victim. You just think the world hates on you and it's everybody else's fault. And poor me, why me? It always happens to me. I always attract these women. I'm always in and out of these relationships, or these men come to me, and why? Why
Mhm.
me? Because that's, and then it turns, you get into that anger, and it just gets harder and harder to move out from. So, Zanetta.
Yeah. So, it was a long process. I did go through the typical um path of someone who has been sexually abused. I went through the drug phase. I went through the alcohol phase. I went through the hoeing phase. Did I
Yeah.
say that? I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, I went.
absolutely.
I went through that. I went through all of those phases. I went through the I don't care anymore. I don't care about me. I don't care about my body. This is what I'm here for. So I went through all of those. But when I was by myself, I did not like who I was.
Mm.
And the only way for the person to come out of that is to change where they're at. And how do you change? It might be the simplest answer, but it works and it is truth. It's choice.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah.
choice. When you wake up in the morning, you have a choice to either think about how your day is going to be and just dread getting up. You can choose to snooze that button, or you can choose to get up in an instant.
Yeah.
You can choose to say, you know what, I'm not going to think about work today, which I did so this morning. I wrote down what I'm going to be thankful for. Thank you so much for that. I wrote down what I'm thankful for in the future for today. And then I also, sat and did a meditation. I had my quiet time. I had my me time. I had my time with my God. So that just gave me the energy to tackle on the day. Um, but the thing is, it's a choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice whether you want to remain a victim. It's a choice because you're not being victimized anymore. I mean,
Mm.
if you're still in it, of course, yes, you are. But
Mm.
if you're out of it, make that choice. No, I am not in a battered relationship anymore. So why am I acting like I'm a battered person?
Mm.
I'm greater than this. I'm stronger than this. I'm more courageous than this. This is not what happened to me doesn't define who I am. And that's it took a mind change, and that's what it is. It's a mindset. You really have to make that choice.
Yes.
Or if you I always say this, if you want to stay, it's okay.
Yeah. For
Stay
some people it's comfortable. It is comfortable.
until you're comfortable in coming out. Yeah.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right, Zaneta, because for some people, as easy as it is to say, make a choice, right? It's like switching that light switch on. You either want the light on or you want it off.
Yes.
It's very simple. But as we know, the most simplest things are usually the hardest things to do. Because as humans, we're just so programmed to thinking everything has got to be hard and we've got to be doing all this to get to the end, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, making that choice. And for some, there's many ways. I often suggest, if you can, sit quietly with yourself, really detach from the world, because social media, phones, technology can draw us away from connecting with ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you can just disconnect from the world, usually I suggest go out in nature.
Yeah.
To ground yourself and ask some really fundamental questions.
Ooh, what are those questions?
A very easy question. Don't ask why, because when you're stuck in the why, you're still churning over the same thing. Okay. The fastest and quickest way is to ask how. And if you have a God, a creator, a source,
a higher being,
something or someone that you believe in, or an energy source, how can I transition? What is it that I need to do? Just surrender that and have faith that it's going to come.
Yeah.
The answers will come. You just need to ask. If we don't ask the right questions, we're not going to get the right answers.
Right.
So when you can just say how and just sit with it and just let it go and surrender and stay still with yourself, your intuition, your gut feeling, your inner being will communicate. Your higher self will communicate that to you.
Yeah.
But when we're too busy running around, doing this, doing that, looking after others and trying to be the best that we can in this very high-tech world, because really we are run by, we can be run by our phones, we can be run by all the technology, our jobs, everything, that we don't have time to sit with ourselves.
No. We get to the point of there's so much, like what you said, there's so much bombardment on the outside that when you take a look at, just me scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, there's so many things on there that just goes into our eye gate, then it goes into our spirit, then it goes into and what we're actually doing, Stefania, is that if you're looking at the stuff on social media, you're actually looking at envy, because you're looking at somebody like, oh, oh, she's sexy. I wish.
Yeah.
without even recognizing it, or these different things that they're showing up. I don't know if you have done what I've done. I have made sure that my feed doesn't have all of these drama people.
Oh, I didn't realize you can do that.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes. I don't, usually, unfortunately, sometimes I do miss some important information simply because I get on, do my thing, and then get off, which is really not, for some, there's some important information there that I should. But I find that that's the only way I can control myself, because I too get caught up in this digital world. And there's one thing I just wanted to add to that, and this is where we're not conscious of it, and I want to share it. And there was this, I guess, quote, or what it's called. It's actually called digital dementia.
Mm.
And the reason it's called that is because, and I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but I know I have, you look at so much information on your phone, on the computer, and you're trying to absorb, because it's all so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you forget everything.
Yes.
A lot of it, if you were to think back, what was that article? What was that? You actually forget. And it's actually called, there's a term, it's been named,
Wow.
digital dementia.
Wow.
So when I heard that, I went, holy mogoly.
Right.
How, and this was by Jim Quick, the brain coach. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes. Yeah, I follow him.
Right. And I've got his book and I've been reading it, and he talks about this digital dementia. And how do we get over this digital dementia is by literally reading, getting a book and sitting down and reading for at least 25 minutes. Why laughing?
Well, because when you say reading, you're like, people like, what? A real book?
They don't exist anymore, but they do, and it is very good to strengthen the brain, the muscle, to prevent digital dementia. And he says to read in 25-minute increments, and then have a break for 2 to 3 minutes, stretch your legs, jump up and down, go to the bathroom, and then sit back down and read for another 25 minutes. It is the best and the quickest way to actually retain, learn, and understand what you have read. And also he says where you actually have to teach someone else what you have read is a great way of retaining information. When you can actually teach someone else what you have learned through reading, that is really stretching the brain and exercising those brains.
That becomes a long-term memory, because when you read it, that's just visual learning. But then when you're teaching it, it now becomes audible learning, and also now you're imagining it, or you're seeing it in your brain. So now that becomes vision. So you have all three types of learning all in one. So that I do follow Jim Quick. I listen to his podcast. I listen to a lot of educational podcasts. I listen to a lot of those that have teachings of how to be a better person. How to change your mindset to become better. I read this book, Super Brain.
That's his book, isn't it? Super Brain.
No, it's a very thick book, and but it's really good because it talks about how you can train your brain to actually, create more. Because somebody says that you're hardwired. No, you can rewire your brain. So that was amazing for me, and that was the beginning actually of me changing my mindset. Because once I realized that I could rewire my brain, because we're hardwired.
Yeah, it's not true.
We're taught that.
Or we're taught that we only use 10% of our brain. That's not true.
That is not true. No. It is not true. We actually use all of our brain. We just notice 10%.
That's it. Yeah,
that's absolutely. The actual truth. The actual truth is we only notice 10%.
Right, which brings us back to repetitious
compulsion.
If we can rewire our brain, if we can go back and know that we can rewire, we can change, we have choices, we can start afresh.
Yes.
There's no reason why we can't attract different people in our lives, healthier relationships.
See, and here's what I here's my experience. This is my experience. So after the divorce, I played around because
Good.
I was stuck in the anger stage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it. I didn't admit it, but I knew I was stuck in the anger stage.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was doing is, dating here, there, until finally I got to the point of, who are you, Zaneta? I don't know you anymore. You know, is this the life that you really want to be? Is this, because I had in my mind, oh no, I'm not gonna remarry. I'm just gonna be, single and what is the terminology now? Single and ready to mingle, or it just makes me want to vomit. No, but that's where I was. So the thing is that I was stuck in anger. So until I really took a hard look at myself and took a hard look at what my choices were, took a hard look at what I was doing and where I was going fast, that is when the switch came in. That's when the turn came in. And then that's when I started going into, reading those books. And that's when I fixed me.
Right.
And when I
Mm.
fixed me, Jeff
Ta-da!
came along.
Woo.
Jeff
Yeah.
came along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which goes
there's a
back to you're attracting what you're reflecting, right? So,
right.
which is perfectly, what this is all about.
Yeah.
You are getting ready to be in alignment with what it is you want to attract in your life.
Yes. So there's a saying for, with the church folks, church ladies, single church ladies. There's a saying, I'm waiting for my Boaz. I don't know if you're familiar with that scripture story, um, where Ruth uh, loses her husband. They die. Naomi, her mother-in-law, goes back into her country, and she said, "Why don't you go back to your country?" And she said, "No, I'm going to follow you. Your God will be my God. Your people will be my people." So a long story short, she wounds up Boaz, who is a very wealthy man, and this uh, that's what we call in a modern day, you know, uh, women, tall, dark, handsome, and a millionaire.
A
So
Boaz.
yeah, Boaz. So she winds up marrying Boaz, or Boaz. They get married. So a lot of them are saying, I'm waiting for my Boaz. So I'm like, okay, before you can have a Boaz, before you're looking for your Boaz, you first need to be a Ruth. What did Ruth do to get Boaz? That's the question.
Right.
So she was learning and gleaning from a mentor, telling her, because she's in a foreign country, she needs to learn, she needs to do all these things. So and that's what I had to do. I had to become a Ruth, quote unquote, in order for me to get my Boaz. Now that I have my Boaz by the name of Jeff,
Yeah.
because you have to be that person. You have to be that person in order to when you're secure in yourself, when you're confident in yourself, when you know who you are, you won't settle for less.
Correct. Yes. And it goes for both men and women.
Yes.
It goes for both ways. I encourage that with men, just when you love yourself unconditionally, inside out, you know what you deserve, and you'll know what you will let into your circle,
Mm-hmm.
know who not to let into your circle.
Yeah. Yeah. And all this chatter, I'm going to go back to this. All this chatter about you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be that, and you have to make this, and you have to be this. That's no. Um, I asked a whole bunch of men that I know that I consider high value men. I consider them high value men. They make a certain amount of money. They are very stable in their position. Um, they they are a person to be reckoned with in their field.
Mm-hmm.
So when I asked them, what do you look for in a woman? Not one said, well, she has to be this height, she has to be this weight, she has to make this kind of money, she needs to know how to cook, stay in the kitchen, um, all these external things. All of them said she needs to be confident. She needs to know who she is. Because when she knows who she is, that is the most sexiest thing I've ever seen in a woman.
Absolutely.
What is your men talking about? What do they look for in a woman?
Well, it's interesting. I think with men that I've spoken to and dealt with, it's respect. They feel they really yearn respect. Yeah. Confidence, yes. They think a woman that is confident is very sexy and appealing for men, but they yearn for loyalty and honesty and respect. Yeah. Together with confidence. So there's a little, a group there of, values that they bunch together. And I say to them, because I've run surveys, what is the one? And I'd have to say that I do get confidence, but the main one would have to be loyalty, being able to have a loyal woman. I don't know whether it's just the men I've dealt with that have gone through some trauma with having women that have
it speaks volume. It speaks volume. What you value the most is what you're having issues with the most.
Correct. And it's interesting you say that, because when we break it down, it always goes back to self, doesn't it?
Self, yeah, always.
So we have to look at, okay, where are you not being loyal? Not so much with others, but with yourself. Where are you not being loyal with yourself? Where are you not respecting yourself? Where are you not got that confidence yourself? Whatever it is, because it's reflecting back on them. They can clearly see it in someone else. This goes for both men and women. If they can clearly see it in someone else, it is clearly in you. And let me tell you, from my experiences, I've had to learn that too. The hard way, because I won't lie, I struggled with accepting that within myself. I did. And I was also great at, pointing the finger at everyone else. It was their fault. It was them, being in that victim. But it's only when you start working on yourself and you start shedding all that now I can talk about it. But I needed to do that to be where I am now also. So I'm actually grateful. I embrace that part of my life. I'm not perfect. I wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect now. I'm just perfect as can be in now. I'm accepting myself and really realizing that, I'm always on the improve.
Yeah. Natasha said, I think it's also what you want to give. I want to give loyalty, so I want to receive loyalty. Oh.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Yeah. So
and receive, and also sorry, Zaneta, I was just going to say, add that.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Natasha, for saying that. But it can also be where we're struggling to receive that loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can also, or whatever it is, that love. I want someone to love me. I want to love, but are we ready to receive that very thing we're yearning for?
Yes.
Is sometimes a little bit of a block, a
Yeah.
mental
And
block.
here's also the where I had to learn. Um, the we're taught what you give, you will receive,
Mm.
but it doesn't tell you from whom.
No. That's right. And we're not meant to know. That's what we're going to accept, that sometimes it's not from the
Yeah.
person you give to.
I
Exactly.
mean, it's Alexa's just trying to contact me. I don't know why. um, so that blew my mind. I did not know that, because when you say give and it shall be given unto you. Um, so when you give loyalty, you expect loyalty from the same person, but
Mm.
it does not actually define who it's coming from or where you're gonna get it from. So
Absolutely.
it really messed with me, because I take those moments of talking to God, but I give this and I give this and I give this, and then he'll just shed light, and I'm like, oh, oops. Oh, okay. And so this is what he showed that, okay, so you're loving this person and you expect love back, but this person is giving you love, but you're not giving the type of love that they want back.
Oh, energy.
Yeah, it's like, so when you give it, but you will receive it from other means, from other, so to actually just give, for loyalty, let's talk about loyalty. Oh, Natasha, loyalty is expensive. You want to spend it on those who cherish it.
True.
Very expensive indeed. But when you embody it, I just started embodying loyalty. I embodied love. I embodied forgiveness. I embodied grace. I embodied mercy. So when I embody that and I give it out, I don't expect it in return from the individual that I am giving it to, because I know it will be given to me in other means.
Mm.
So, because when you expect it from the person that you're giving it to, you're setting yourself up for failure, for disappointment.
Mhm.
And I have set myself up numerous times of disappointment and failure because I expected. So now I don't. I just embody it and give it. And if they give it back, woohoo! We
And
all
if they
win.
don't, it's woohoo too, because that
Yes.
you get to know
That is so true.
where to spend your loyalty, as Natasha says, because it's expensive. So you need to
It is.
travel down that road to know where to spend your loyalty or whatever it
Yes.
is that you value.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So,
Repetitive
so the
compulsion.
quickest way to get out of the repetitious compulsion, go
Mhm.
straight to acceptance.
Yes. Boom. Just like that.
Bam. But it's so hard to do. I
Um,
know.
how about we say it's so easy to do? And you know what really helped me? Can I share what really helped me
Yes, yes.
in my years of acceptance? And it actually started, I was in the States. I was living in the States at the time. I was
Oh,
I was going out with a gentleman in California. So I spent a number of months out in the States. And he was what's it called? He was in AA, but he was
Alcohol Anonymous.
yeah, but he had a recovered alcoholic, what they're
Mm-hmm.
called. Yeah. But he kept going to these meetings,
Yes.
and I would go along as a guest because you just wouldn't be able to say anything, or you just say, hello, I'm, a guest here, and present yourself, say your name, and that was it. You just listen to the rest. Have you ever been to one?
No, I haven't.
Really interesting. So the one prayer that I came in contact with and really helped me, because it was just like a recording. I just really embodied it, was the serenity prayer.
Yes.
And they say the serenity, I'm not sure if they probably do, because their AA meetings are pretty much repetitive. I'm not sure if they've changed the style a bit, but, God, give me the serenity
Mm-hmm.
to accept the things I cannot change, or give me the
Yes.
courage to change the things that I can, and then give me the wisdom to know the difference. And that to me was like, wow, the whole light bulb went on in my head. Because if I can just accept and surrender to it, just surrender, just let go, and just let it be, accept it. Because that was the biggest, the biggest hurdle I had to get over was acceptance.
Yeah.
That really helped. So even just that mantra of that prayer helped me immensely. So anyone out there that is struggling with acceptance and you just don't know where to start, even starting with this simple, if you don't want to call it a prayer, an affirmation of lines, it helps you just start getting into that feeling of surrendering. And yeah, I must admit, that's what really, really helped me.
Yeah. What's so funny is that in the Philippines, we have a transportation called the jeepney. It's a souped up jeep, with passengers, and almost all of the jeepneys have that on their dashboard.
Oh, do
You know,
they? That the
yeah,
prayer.
the
Yeah.
the serenity prayer. Um, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's all over. You can possibly just probably even a cab. You will see that little prayer in the cab. Um, so when you brought that up, it just brought me back to the Philippines, that I've seen that several times, but never really dawned on me that that's what I've been doing. Yeah. So yeah, and it's acceptance. When you get to the acceptance stage quicker, does it mean that you won't get depressed? Of course, because that's still a hurt feeling. It's a loss. It's a failed attempt. You thought it was successful, but it didn't become successful. Um, as long as anger is not there, because we want to stay away from anger, and the bargaining. Those are the two emotions that goes away when you go to acceptance. The depression is still there, because of course you're still sad. There's a portion of us that there is a healthy dose of depression. You know, you feel sad. You ever get uh, because sometimes depression is a bad word, to a whole bunch of people, but actually depression is a time for you to depress, because you're all pumped up all the time. So when you depress, that means you're kind of, okay, let me settle right here for a minute, let me just take a pause. That is healthy. When you get tired, you slump, you're in a depressive mode, not in the negative, or the emotional kind of darkness, but you're in that, okay, let me just sit right here for a minute and then get
Mm.
back up. So does it take away from depression? No, it doesn't. Acceptance doesn't mean that the pain is gone. It doesn't mean that what happened didn't happen. That's not what acceptance is all about. um, Acceptance means is that it's a reality, it happened, and move on. Who's that? Ariana, thank you for my ex next. So
Yes. Is
I
that a
just saw it
self
on the voice. I saw it on no voice. She was next.
uh,
So
yeah,
having that attitude of accepting it, okay, let's move on,
yeah.
kind of thing.
Now, I think sometimes we can sometimes get too stuck in our own little heads, and we
Mm,
think our head is just our world, and there's nothing else outside our heads. So yeah, just knowing that there's a vast world and opportunities waiting for us to just, activate,
mm,
take
yeah,
action, take
yeah,
action. So there is healing. It can be done. It's a
yeah.
matter of knowing the steps, and
Mhm.
as I said before, knowledge plus action is power.
Yes.
Having the knowledge and not taking the action doesn't really get you anywhere.
No, it doesn't.
Or taking action without knowing where to take action doesn't get you anywhere. So you
Right.
need both together. And when you know that you have it, you just build the courage. And if you can't do it on your own, okay, because we all need each other,
Yes.
ask for help, get some assistance, talk
Yes.
to a faithful friend, a pastor, someone that you can confide in, a coach, a
Mhm.
consultant, someone that is going to help you on your journey. Don't think you're on your own, and particularly in today's times where we have been isolated, we've been asked to isolate. It's been very detrimental on the lives of people, their
Mhm.
mental state, how they feel, how they see themselves. It doesn't have to be like that. Know that there are people out there. You just need to ask.
Yeah.
And if that person isn't available to help, it's not the right person. You go to the next person,
Yes.
because not everybody's going to say no to you.
Right.
It's like
Right.
beggars when they're begging for their coins or they're busking,
Yeah.
right?
Somebody's going to give.
Someone's going to give. You'll always see someone give. So
Yes.
don't think that no one is going to give. And don't think you're the only one out there asking for help. We all need it.
Yes.
I need it. I ask for help. You
Yes.
know, I think sometimes when you're a coach or you're a therapist, or people think, oh, their lives are perfect. No,
No.
no, we have our roller coaster rides.
Yes.
Like even the other week, I called on you, Zaneta, didn't I?
Yes, you
I was
did.
like, I'm out walking my dog. I was like,
Yeah.
and I debriefed. She was my sounding board, and she's done the same with me. So, have someone that you can do that with,
Yes.
because it's no good keeping it inside. You're not
No.
going to go.
No. So to just say the same thing that you're saying. This platform is this is what this is for. And we can
Yes.
have a conversation. Let us have a conversation. Come on and join us. And you can always reach out to Stefania. You can see where you can reach her right there. Stefania Pulio at the Gentleman Square. Me at Redefine Me. So reach out to us. Talk. Let us have a conversation. I know I've had conversations, with a whole bunch of people that um, they will. Nobody will ever know I'm talking to them. Let me put it that way. Nobody will ever know I'm talking to them. because it's sacred for me. You know, um, what their darkest fears are, um, what their issues are. You know, that is sacred to me because um, they have entrusted that information to me, and so that's what uh, cherish. I cherish it. I do. Conversation that heals. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So right, Denise. Yes. Conversations that heal and build on each other. And that's why, we have this platform. We want this to be able to go out so that we can have this conversation and not just to have something to talk about,
Mm.
but to really extend um, the hands, our hearts, our ears, um, our silence. Because sometimes the silence is, they just want someone to hear them.
Yeah.
And, it's golden. So the silence sometimes it's golden. So I want to thank you for those that are watching and for those that are, commenting. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And and spread the word.
Come
Yeah,
on. Come on, join us.
come on
Don't be
in and come on in
shy.
and join us.
Yes.
Spread the
There's lots of
word.
room. Yeah, there's lots of room on Restream, isn't there?
Yes, there's lots of room on Restream. We can have 6 people.
Saving, Denise says. Yeah.
Yes, and this, yes, life saving. Yes, we should see everyone as a precious soul, no
Mhm.
matter who they are, no matter what beliefs they have, no matter what morals they have. We should always see them as a soul worth saving.
Yes.
Always, always. Um, y- you know, uh, whether your religion is uh, Muslim, Jewish, what are the other ones? Buddhist, Hindu, Christian. All of us are about saving lives.
Yes.
All, all of them. So, for each of us to just hear, to just be that um, lifeline, to be that lifeline. You know, I really enjoy um, these lives. On Fridays. I know it says fun. So I'm gonna give the fun portion tonight. As you can see, I look like a chipmunk half.
No, you don't,
Look like a
Zaneta.
half chipmunk, but my voice got better.
Right.
My voice got better, but yeah, I'm look like
You
half
can't
half
tell.
chip.
You cannot
Woo!
tell.
I can't. I look like I'm.
Probably it probably feels more so than it looks. It doesn't look like what you think.
Oh,
Or
it
feel.
feels like it.
Yeah. You've had a little surgery, so I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. So I really enjoy these, um, because I haven't seen anything on social media that has something like this. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to have these conversations and share our vulnerability, because a lot of people think that they're the only ones having the issue. No, all of no, there's a billion people. I'm pretty sure somebody in that billion is experiencing the same thing you're experiencing or have experienced the same
Hmm.
thing that we've all experienced. So just sharing the different wisdoms that we've gained, and we would like to hear some wisdom from the audience.
Yes.
you
Don't be shy.
know yeah, join us. Yes.
Woo. Thank you. Thank you, Denise.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Natasha.
Thank you, Denise. Yeah. And we just thank you for your time, because we know that you could have um, spent your time elsewhere. scrolling on other things, right?
They stopped at the right place.
Yes, yes.
We thank you.
So, Stefania,
Yes.
we are going to go ahead and close out. Any last wisdoms? Any last, takeaways?
Um, I just, my takeaway was bringing me back home to the serenity prayer. And I'd really like to just finish off with that. And I think if it's just too hard to think of anything, go back to that prayer and reflect on the words and just let them seep through your conscious, your subconscious, and your cellular memory. And it'll all come together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is so powerful. I mean, just knowing, serenity. That word, it goes deeper than peace. The serenity is I use it a lot. They make a joke out of it in the Seinfeld comedy series, where George Costanza will say serenity now," um, but it's a because serene, you're in a calm,
Mm.
uh, place. Um, but to get that peace that passes all understanding, that's that's just that's
Euphoric.
where, yeah, yeah,
Euphoric.
yeah. When the whole world is chaotic, and even if you're in a situation that's chaotic, and you have that peace, that inner peace, it does passes all understanding. Um, I've heard that several times with me. I don't understand how you can be peaceful. I don't understand how you can accept that. I don't understand how you can do that. I don't understand how you came out of that. I don't understand how you're not losing your mind. I don't understand. Well, I do. I do. I understand. Because my understanding is that when I have the peacemaker in me, when I have the peace, the one who is the giver of peace in
Mm.
me, then I will have that peace that surpasses all understanding.
Mm.
And that's where this is my takeaway for all of this, is getting to that peace, getting to that acceptance. Because when you accept, what can you do, right? It is what it
Wow.
is, as people would say. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
it is actually acceptance, and that's what it is. So thank you everyone for watching. For those that stayed on for an hour and 17 minutes,
Woo.
we are past our time.
Good time.
Yeah. Until next time, next week. If you guys want a topic that you would like for us to tackle, do put it in the chat, or send it to us, individually or collectively, or put in the comments when you watch the replay. Write any topic that you would want us to tackle, and we will do so. We will do our due justice, and if we're not familiar with the topic, we will do our due justice in doing some research, and we will see what the common consensus is, and what is the common sense is. So thank you. May all of you have a good remainder of the evening and day for you, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank
And yes, thank you. Yes, let's all remain healthy.
you. Yes, absolutely, Denise.
Wash your hands, sanitize, wear a mask, and keep 6 feet apart. All right,
All
until
right.
next time.
Love and passion. Bye.
Bye bye.